This episode of the Occulte Veritatis podcast is brought to us by Studio Headphones. For a 15% discount on your first order, use code OVPOD at checkout.
Warning, this podcast contains violence, sexuality, gore, and other horrible and disturbing things. Listener discretion is advised. Also, the hosts of this venture are ignorant dipshits, so please do not take anything they say as fact. And enjoy the show.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
Today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be.
The atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand.
It is our basic human right to be fucked up.
A second plane now has crashed into the other tower of the World Trade Center.
Put chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The defendant shall be incarcerated for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men.
We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Occulte Veritatis.
Hello and welcome to Occulte Veritatis. I am Sage Murray.
Fuck you.
Whoa! You're stepping on my intro.
I'm Leon Filger.
I'm Oud Gallifrey.
And in studio with us,
Emmy. Yay, Emmy! All right, today, so what's your poison?
So, what's your poison?
We are taste testing Wiser's spiced whiskey, and particularly we're testing the vanilla flavored version of it.
I hate A, Wiser's, B, spiced, C, whiskey, and D, vanilla.
Well, you're going to hate this.
I don't taste the vanilla.
It smells like nail polish remover.
That's my favorite.
Good
acetone.
sign.
That just tastes like happiness. Oh, the reaction was very visceral.
It tastes like sweet nail polish remover. Blah.
Have you ever made model airplanes? You know, like airplane glue?
Yeah.
That like dissolves polypropylene and polystyrene?
Yeah.
That's the smell I'm getting from it.
Acetate then if it's nail polish remover and glue.
Oh, goody.
It would probably, I'm getting like an aftertaste of vanilla. It would probably be really good with like a cream soda. But by itself, it is unpleasant.
You know, I bet it would taste good with a root beer.
It's just running out of my mouth.
It's running out.
Leon
escaping.
Leon actually shuddered. I thought he might puke for a moment there. Oh, God, it really does smell like nail polish remover.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Like, I could see mixing it with a lot of something, but you can't. It's not a sipping liquor at all.
No, it's not a sipping liquor. Oh, there's a gag.
Everything about that is bad.
Wait, just give it a moment, and then it gets like sweet.
I would rather just drink vanilla extract, thank you.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So
I respect that.
Do you guys want to know why I've been feeding you kind of random booze from elsewhere?
Yes, why?
Trying to get rid of it.
One of my side jobs from a few years back was being an alcohol tester, and I had to pick out.
I believe you.
I had to pick out the alcohol that I was additioning, or sorry, not testing, additioning. So I was pitching alcohol in the liquor store. So I picked out my dark rum that I had to talk up, and I had to compare it to some other bottle of my choice and talk that one down. And those were my orders.
And then you got to take the bottles home at the end of the day.
Yes. So I tried to time it that I would have both bottles run out just before the end of my shift, and I would just crack open 2 new bottles so I'd be able to take them in. And This Wiser's vanilla whiskey was one of the bottles that I compared against.
Smart man.
Yeah.
How long ago was this? How old has this bottle of liquor been open?
This is last November, so a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. Well, I think it would be better mixed. I think it would be fine mixed.
It didn't improve with age at any rate.
No, it did not improve with age.
I'm going to wash it down with a mouthful of this delicious cider.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I like it.
Episodes.
6 out of 10.
I would give it like a 3.5, I guess. Whatever.
5 naked Sam Squanches out of a sheep, Richard Dawkins, and a bestiality movie.
The Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch.
Born on May 23, 1950, Richard Chase was later to become one of America's most notorious serial killers due to the depravity of his acts. Earning the nickname Vampire of Sacramento, He terrorized California and drank the blood of his victims to satisfy a persistent delusion. Under the belief that Nazis were attempting to turn his blood into powder, and he drank blood to ward off this medical disaster.
Today, I am going to talk about Richard Chase.
Ooh.
He's the Vampire of Sacramento.
Does he sparkle in the sun?
No, he does not, but he did drink people's blood.
Oh.
Chase was a native of Santa Clara, California. Obviously, because all my episodes are depressing as hell. He was abused by his parents, and by the age of 10, he exhibited evidence of the Macdonald Triad, bedwetting, arson, and cruelty to animals. And that's seen as by some as possible indicators of future violent tendencies. So lots of serial killers have the Macdonald Triad. In his adolescence, he was known as an alcoholic and a chronic drug user.
Oh, already?
Yeah. He also started exhibiting signs of mental illness very early.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, this is a solid start to a normal life.
Well, that's something that last podcast on the left noticed is when they started doing their big hitter episodes, they found that
Heavy hitter.
Yeah, the heavy hitter episode, they found that a lot of the killers had early mental trauma of some kind.
And the Macdonald Triad.
Yes.
Yeah, which is bedwetting, arson, and cruelty to animals. So Chase developed hypochondria as he matured.
I have none of those things.
Hooray! He often complained that his heart would occasionally stop beating and that someone had stolen his pulmonary artery. He would hold oranges over his head, believing vitamin C would be absorbed by his brain via diffusion. Chase also believed that his cranial bones had become separated and were moving around. So he shaved his head to be able to watch the activity. He could not maintain regular sexual functions and without literally killing things. He also killed animals and ate them raw. This poor boy was very mentally ill.
And this is still in his adolescence, right?
In his adolescence, yeah.
Jesus.
So after leaving his mother's house, believing that she was attempting to poison him, Chase rented an apartment with his friends, and his roommates complained that he was constantly high, in quotations, on alcohol, which I am right now, marijuana, and LSD. Chase would walk around the apartment nude, even in front of company. Chase's roommates demanded that he move out, and when he refused, his roommates moved out instead.
I guess he won that one.
Yeah, so he sounds like a delight and also really sad. Once alone in the apartment, Chase began to capture, kill, and disembowel various animals, which he would then devour raw, as I mentioned, sometimes mixing the raw organs with Coca-Cola in a blender and drinking the concoction.
Jesus.
Sounds extra vile.
Ruin Coca-Cola.
Sounds kind of like the teacher's blended scotch that we drank.
Not a lot better.
Chase believed that by ingesting the creatures, he was preventing his heart from shrinking. And this is really sad. This guy clearly had some serious mental wellness issues that went completely unchecked. And it is really important to note that while the most publicized and heinous crimes seem to be committed by people with mental health issues, the incredibly vast majority of people affected by mental health issues, all three of us included, I don't know about you.
Fuck yeah.
All four of us included. We're just super boring, regular, non-murdery people.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to mention.
Yeah.
Especially for my episodes, because I do the murderers.
Yeah, there's a few podcasts out there, and if you're a fan of true crime podcasts, you know exactly which one I'm talking about, that seem to want to stigmatize mental illness as like, oh, they're ready to snap at any moment, and blah, 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 blah. But that's just not the reality.
No. I'm ready to snap at any moment. I had like a anxiety attack driving in the snow today. I had to get Leanne to come pick me up.
Yeah.
I am not going to murder anyone.
Yeah.
My version of ready to snap means I really just need to have a nap immediately.
That's fair. Yeah, like we're all pretty boring.
Ready to snap is like, which of my meds did I forget to take this morning?
Yeah.
Like something's very off.
Yeah. So, for anyone wondering, mentally ill people are generally boring. It's only the most like.
I mean,
super
boring
crazy
insofar as murdering people. I like to think I'm an interesting person.
Yeah, totally. But we're like not murderers.
I mean,
we're
it's
not
pretty boring.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with that.
All right. Anyway, back to my episode.
I love you, Ood. I'm kidding.
We love
I love
you.
me too.
Chase spent a brief time in a psychiatric ward in 1973, and in 1976, he was involuntarily committed to a mental institution upon being taken to a hospital after injecting rabbit's blood into his veins.
Ooh. Well, now, haven't we all done that?
Yeah, that's a little bit extreme. The staff nicknamed him Dracula because of his blood fixation. Super original.
That's super unprofessional.
Right. He broke the necks of 2 birds he caught through the institution windows and drank their blood. He also extracted blood from the therapy dogs with stolen syringes.
That's pretty fucked.
Yeah, he's like super into
Holy
blood.
shit.
I know, he's like super into blood.
Are we sure he wasn't a real vampire?
There was no such thing. Oh. Chase was promptly diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
Yay.
What a surprise.
Mm-hmm. After undergoing a battery of treatments, including psychotropic drugs, Chase was deemed no longer a danger to society, and later in 1976, he was released to his mother's custody. Chase's mother weaned him off his medication, which I think was a shitty idea, as you will find out later, and got him his own apartment. Again, shitty idea. This led to a miasma of worse behavior. He neglected his health, developed an obsession with handguns, and was found more than once covered in blood and screaming somewhere in his neighborhood. So obviously the weaning off of the medication was a really bad plan.
Yeah.
Later investigation uncovered that in mid-1977, Chase was stopped and arrested on a reservation in the Pyramid Lake, Nevada area. His body was smeared with blood, and a bucket of blood was found in his truck. The blood was determined to be cow's blood, and no charges were filed. So he was
There was an episode of Survivor some time ago where they stuck some kind of hollow pipe into a cow and collected its blood, and the contestants on Survivor had to drink a certain amount of this blood and hold it down. And like at the time, I was taking classes not on blood drinking, but it was like basic like university biology classes.
Blood drinking classes.
And I'm like, you can't.
I'd sign up for those.
Yeah.
Like blood is designed for you to not be able to hold it down.
Yeah.
Like if you drink enough blood, you will vomit. That's
Yeah.
why like when you get your nose broken or whatever, they're like lean forward because you don't want to fucking drink your blood and puke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone threw up, and everyone was all like, "Oh, you couldn't fucking hold that down." I'm like, "No, you couldn't. Like, if you could hold down that much, like a liter of blood, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to do that."
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Survivor, who would have done that?
Yeah. So Chase basically thought that the Nazis were trying to turn his blood into powder,
Of
and
course.
that he drank blood to stave off this medical disaster. So his cravings obviously developed from animal blood to human blood. On December 29th, 1977, Chase killed his first known victim in a drive-by shooting. The victim, Ambrose Griffin, was a 51-year-old engineer and a father of 2. He attempted to enter the home of a woman 2 weeks later, but because her doors were locked, he walked away.
Vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be invited in.
Oh, man. Are we sure he wasn't a real vampire? I just want to ask one more time.
I'm pretty sure the vampires
He's following a lot of the rules.
Well, wait a minute. No, but vampirism by definition, this guy was actually a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he needed to drink blood to feel okay.
He's a vampire.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Chase later told detectives that he took locked doors as a sign that he was not welcome, you don't say. But unlocked doors were an invitation to come inside.
Interesting.
He was once caught and chased off by a couple returning home as he pilfered their belongings, and he'd also urinated and defecated on their infant child's bed and clothing.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
I mean, you get home from a long day with your kid, and then you have to clean up all the sheets. That's no good.
No, it's no good. Have someone with a 3-year-old. No good.
Hey, Ood Gallifrey here, just tuning back in to tell you a little bit about studio headphones. I know these advertisements are sort of new, but it helps us save some of the costs here. So I've been wearing my studio headphones for another couple weeks now, just testing them out, going to and from work, running around town with my headphones, running errands, all that stuff, and they've been performing just as well. Like I said, I really want to have some integrity behind any advertisements we had, and that's why I insisted on power testing these things, and they're good enough that they've replaced my other pair of Bluetooth headphones. They have 24 hours of battery life. If you turn them off, they have a month of standby time, so you can leave them somewhere for a month, and they'll still have enough charge for you to just turn them on and use them. They fit really well. They don't have like little clicky increment head fittings. They just slide until they perfectly fit your head. They're really comfortable. They have a kind of a European style that not many American headphone companies had. And the Bluetooth connection and the sound quality is just amazing. If you want to check them out, just go to their website, Studio Headphones, and use our code OVPOD to get 15% off your purchase if you decide to purchase them. Because I know we all do a lot of hard things and work hard to earn our money, and we don't want to put it at risk by buying something shitty. So I want to assure you that these headphones are worth the cash that you pay for them. And now, back to the vampire.
And also, like, strangers.
Been in your house shitting on your kids' stuff?
So fucking scary.
Right?
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Now, somebody broke into my apartment when I just moved in, and all they did was sit at my kitchen table and drink juice. And I felt violated.
Like you do.
That's my juice. It's not your juice.
On January 23rd, 1978, Chase broke into a house and shot Teresa Wallen, who was 3 months pregnant at the time, 3 times. He then had sexual intercourse with her corpse while stabbing her with a butcher knife.
Christ. I never expected him to have a sexual element.
He then removed multiple organs, cut off one of her nipples, drank her blood, and bathed in it. So he just, like, smeared it all over himself.
Yeah, like Elizabeth Bathory.
Yep. He stuffed dog feces from Waylon's yard down her throat before leaving.
Jesus, why?
Because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he just wanted to. I think he probably wanted to embarrass, like an embarrassment kind of thing.
No, humiliation.
Humiliation, defilement.
Fuck, can't even give her respect in death. Christ.
So on January 28th, which is 4 days later, Chase entered the home of 38-year-old Evelyn Miroth. He encountered her friend, Danny Meredith, whom he shot with his .22 handgun, then took Meredith's wallet and car keys. He fatally shot Miroth, her 6-year-old son, Jason, and her 22-month-old nephew, David Ferreira. After killing Evelyn, he sodomized the corpse and drank blood from her neck. Then he allowed the blood to pool in her abdomen before draining and drinking it. He was a sloppy killer, though, as he left lots of evidence just laying around the crime scene. He stole David's body and consumed the brain matter, blood, and mutilated it before leaving it at a nearby church.
Brain matter? So he's going to kind of zombie tendencies now.
Yeah, cutting into his brain. A visitor's knock on the door startled Chase, who fled in Meredith's car, taking David's body with him. The visitor alerted a neighbor who called the police. They discovered that Chase had left perfect handprints and shoe imprints in Miroth's blood. Chase was arrested. Shortly afterwards, police who searched Chase's apartment found that the walls, floor, and ceiling, refrigerator, all of Chase's eating and drinking utensils were soaked with blood. So he just had, like, blood everywhere.
Christ. And I guess
man loved his blood.
And I guess coming back from episode 1, he sounds like the perfect representation of a disorganized killer.
Oh yeah, he was super disorganized. Like, this man was not well. In 1979, Chase stood trial on 6 counts of murder. In order to avoid the death penalty, his defense tried to find him guilty of second-degree murder, which would result in a life sentence. Their case hinged on Chase's history of mental illness and the suggestion that his crimes were not premeditated. On May 8th, the jury found Chase guilty of 6 counts of first-degree murder and, rejecting the argument that he was not guilty based on reasons of insanity, sentenced him to die in the gas chamber. His fellow inmates, aware of the graphic and bizarre nature of Chase's crimes, feared him, and according to prison officials, they often tried to persuade Chase to commit suicide. So they kind of goaded him into it, because even to other murderers, Chase was kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense if when you hear some of the stories of some of the stuff he's done. Like, if I was just a guy in there spending time for some white collar or just stealing something or some basic crime like that, I would fear the hell out of him. Exactly.
Chase granted a series of interviews with Robert Ressler, who is Bill Tench on Mindhunter, the guy who the guy who coined the term serial killer. And we should likely do an episode on him because he's, like, such a cool badass.
Yeah, he's badass.
And also I'm on a Mindhunter kick. I finished it, but it still haunts me.
Yeah.
During which he spoke of his fears of Nazis and UFOs, claiming that although he had killed, it was not his fault. He had been forced to kill to keep himself alive, which he believed any person would do. He asked Ressler to give him access to a radar gun, with which he could apprehend the Nazi UFOs so that Nazis could stand trial for the murders. He also handed Ressler a large amount of macaroni and cheese, which he had been hoarding in his pants pockets, believing that the prison officials were in league with the Nazis and attempting to kill him with poisoned food. So we may laugh, but this is really sad. This man was super unwell. On December 26, 1980, Chase was found in his cell, not breathing. An autopsy found that he had committed suicide with an overdose of prescribed antidepressants that he had saved over several weeks. So that's it. That's the sad and bloody story of Richard Chase. Sorry for the nightmares. No, actually, I'm not. Have good nightmares.
He actually sounds like he had... The first time I heard the story, it sounded like he has Cotard's delusion or something similar.
Like Cotard's, that makes sense.
With his schizophrenia, right? Like, which is the delusion that you think that you're dying or you're dead or you're rotting or things like that. Like, especially when you started out with the animal blood and stuff. But like to move on to murder immediately and to move and especially with gun murder when you're trying to.
Well, it was really quick. Like it escalated so.
It seems like there's some other sort of paranoia that's comorbid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been there when we think we have the answer, but everybody else is telling us we're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I've been there before with minor things and it annoys the hell out of me. Imagine if you're convinced that your life depends on something and everybody...
On drinking human blood. Like, no, I'm fucking going to have my blood turned to powder by Nazis if I do not drink human blood.
And it's not a suspicion. It's a hard-up, 100% belief for you. Like, if you can empathize and put yourself in those kind of shoes, like, that kind of delusion... like
even down to the basic, like... the nurses are trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Like the concrete knowledge that they are actually trying to kill me.
Right.
I mean, it's not even a departure for reality. It's just that alternative reality. And like in his mind, the fact that he needed this blood in order to live. Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah. It's like you or I believing that if we stop drinking water, we're going to dehydrate and die.
Yeah.
Yes, if we stop breathing, we're going to die. Of course it is. And if he stops drinking blood, he's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that same level of belief.
And I've heard I've seen a lot of criticism when people talk about these cases, like, oh, you shouldn't give them attention, you shouldn't empathize with them and talk about how they're mentally ill because they're monsters. But really, even if you don't like them as people, if you want this to happen less often and you want serial killing and murder to happen less often, you have to focus on improving help for the mentally ill.
Well, and also, as I talked about earlier, not all mentally ill people are crazy blood-drinking murderers.
Mm-hmm.
We can totally 100% empathize with the fact that poor Richard Chase never got any help. He probably would have been better if he had been born, say, now. And
some early intervention probably could have done him a good bit.
Early intervention. But, you know, in the end, he did kill people, and that's shitty. So, like, he is shitty, but he could have been less shitty.
Like, there's cases of where they find a kid who has psychopathic tendencies and has killed animals and maybe even has killed somebody their age, and they were able to work with them enough to develop them into fully functioning adults.
Mm-hmm.
And early intervention, like you said, is a good key.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
So if poor Richard Chase had gotten early intervention, probably none of this weird vampire stuff would have happened.
Yeah, and you can see by, like, the fervent nature of his crime scenes where everything's torn apart and messy, like...
Yeah, he's super messy. Like, it's gross.
Very opportunistic, it seems like, too.
Big Pharma's got some really effective antipsychotic agents these days. Like, we do, as evil as they are, we do really, really well with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the story of Richard Chase, the
little
Vampire
bit of a
Sacramento.
downer. Sorry. Most of my episodes are.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
He's really interesting, but it's also like, holy shit, things went so sideways so fast.
I feel badly for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel bad for his victims, too.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
but
sure.
At the same time, if he had gotten the help that he needed, it never would have escalated to that point.
I can't imagine it was fun to be him.
No.
It sounds like it would have been awful to be him.
Yeah.
And he didn't sound like he had much of a support network around him. His parents.
No, he wasn't having a good
his
time.
dad that beat him and his mom that enabled him. No.
Like, can you imagine?
No friends.
Can you imagine if there's one person in his life that wanted to help him and wanted to see him improve? It might have changed everything, but they weren't present.
Yeah, sad stuff.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me.
Fuck you, asshole.
All right, so my call out an asshole is pretty general this time. I am calling out multi-level marketing boss babes.
Oh, yes.
You people are annoying and pushy with your shitty products. Please leave me alone. I don't want your poison lipstick.
Yeah.
It makes your lips burn. It makes your hair fall out. It's saran wrap.
Yeah.
You are being scammed. Stop trying to sell it. I love you, but I hate your product, and stop adding me to your groups on Facebook.
Well, that's weird. Jennifer from senior year wants to talk to me? We never talked in high school.
We never talked in high school. Why would she suddenly want to meet for coffee now?
Oh, a business opportunity?
I love how people will post on my, like, I'll post about mental illness. I'll be like, this is like, I'm on this new medication. Have you tried this Rodin and Fields blush? Or have you tried like this young living essential oil? Like, yes, that's going to solve all my
Plexus pink drink.
How could I have not have thought of that? Like, my bipolar is going to be cured tomorrow by this fucking rose hip oil. Thank you so much, Young Living. I appreciate it.
Okay, Leon, you have this medication that was developed through Big Pharma, but have you tried chewing on a root?
Yeah.
Or dirty water.
Yeah, dirty water.
I love Big Pharma.
Or he tried this magical shake that costs like $100 a month.
Your liver and your kidneys are not sufficiently detoxifying your body.
Yeah.
First of all, can I just say here, if you need a detox because your liver and kidneys aren't working, you're dead.
Yeah.
If you are still alive, you are detoxed. Don't fucking worry, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If the whites of your eyes are starting to turn yellow, go to the hospital immediately.
Go to the hospital because you're likely a newborn baby and you have jaundice.
I will give one exception to MLMs. There's one that sells really good tea. And I have a friend who occasionally...
Is it steep tea?
Yeah.
I have some of that
their stuff's
tea.
pretty good.
Their stuff's good. And the one friend who occasionally hosts parties, she's super chill about it. She's just like, hey, I want to buy some tea. Come over if you want. I have snacks.
Cool, that's okay, but not
That's the only one that's okay.
I went to a dildo party once where it was like an MLM dildo party.
Pure
and I'm like,
romance.
how is anyone losing out in this? Really?
My first sex toy party was at the Women's Center on campus here in Saskatoon with a whole bunch of strangers. We fondled some dicks. It was perfect.
Yeah,
That sounds like a good night. As long as you're not being pressured to buy random miracle cures, like rub this oil clockwise 8 times to the left under a full moon and you will cure Ebola.
One time I went to a sex toy party and I was the only dude there. And they had Of course I was.
That's how sex toy parties work.
Yeah, I was the only dude. And they had like an entire range of sex toys for dudes. And they're like, wow, like you're the only dude here. Look at all the shit we have for you.
Yeah.
And they sold me this thing called a Clonabone, which was awesome.
Nice.
You pour it into like an empty milk jug and it's like plaster and you stick your dick in it.
Yeah.
And then you fill it up with this plastic. I made a candle. Of my dick and I gave it to my mother.
What?
I gave it to
love
my
your
mom.
mom.
I gave it to my mom and I didn't tell her it was my dick. I just told her it was like a dick candle and she's like, oh, that's pretty big. And I'm like, right on, Mom. That's right, it is. And so she's like getting up like this dick candle is a very thoughtful thing. And then my best friend, you know who he is.
I know who he is.
Told my mom that was my dick. And I was like,
he would.
Ruined it. So now my mother has seen my penis in wax form. It just ruined it. Like it ruined it. It was so funny for me and the insiders. And then he told her it was actually my dick. And the worst part is that the alginate that you put your dick in is cold. So like you get a really like raging hard on when you put it in. It's already shrunk by 10% by the time it hardens.
Oh, you bragger.
How long do you have to put it in there? Like how long?
30 seconds.
Okay, that's not bad. I was thinking they had to sit there for like 30 minutes.
No, but
I was like, how am I going to stay hard with that long?
It's about 30 seconds.
Okay, but your dick candles are a great idea for your high-end Patreon subscribers.
If you want a dick candle... Or I'd do a boob candle. I don't know if that's a thing.
No, they've got a mattress snatch.
Okay, well, I do a mattress snatch.
That's awesome. I want to do something.
Do you want to see what my labia looks like?
You got the dick candle. What's it called? Is it a candle?
It's called Clonabone. Clonabone candle.
And mattress snatch.
Mattress snatch? I love that.
I'm in.
I want some funny running body part.
Okay, so
candle.
how much? What's the Patreon level? How much do you have to pledge to us, and I'll give you a candle of my cock.
$50.
$50.
We have Jack. Jack, would you like a mattress snatch / Clonabone?
How much does the kit cost? Because we got to break even on that.
Yeah.
I know Jack's our first $50 subscriber.
We love you, Jack.
Does Jack want a candle of my dick though?
Or does Jack want a candle of my labia?
We follow each other on Twitter. I'll ask him.
We'll just have to ask Jack about that.
I'm super tight with the patrons already.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't use Twitter because I'm like the elderly.
I never used Twitter before the podcast. It's a steep learning curve.
My guinea pigs are on Twitter.
Your guinea pigs are thank you.
I should put the ferrets on Twitter.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's... Wow.
Just a quick shout out to Leon's mom. I love
This
you.
was fucking...
I love you.
Call out an asshole.
Yes, call an asshole. And
now
none
Jack's
of these
getting
things are
my
assholes.
dick.
And I kind of want Jack to get my labia.
Yeah.
Jack's into that. I don't know.
I'm sure I'll find something to sculpt and mold that I can give him.
I don't know how Mrs. Leon Filger's going to feel about this. I'll have to make a couple of candles.
Yeah. To probably make a
Mind
couple.
you, she gets the real thing whenever she wants it.
I'm going to make him a ceramic asshole incense holder.
Okay, that sounds fun.
That's terrible.
Or
I like
you could
that.
just,
Sorry, Jack.
clone your fist.
Ooh, that's kind of fun.
I like that.
Fist of an angry ood.
I'm going to do that.
Fist of an angry ood.
You got big fists. I wouldn't want them in my ass. I mean, you have stumpy fingers, but your fists themselves are
Yeah, the
large.
actual meat of my hand is pretty big. Yeah.
Your hand meat is substantial.
But somebody else would want that in their ass.
For sure.
Yeah. So if you decide to be a $50 patron, let us know what you want, and we can likely make it happen
We'll make it
because
happen.
we're weird.
Yeah, I can send you a closed fist incense holder, but I can't stop you from putting it in your ass. That's yours. That's your gift now.
That's your gift.
Yeah.
Or if you want us, I've got like little tiny carny hands with crooked fingers. If you want that in your ass, like have at it.
Yes. I would recommend Sage's hand for beginners and me for the advanced class.
Yeah, my hands are like I've got little baby hands.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Alrighty, people, that's it, and that's all for this week. I'll play out the palate cleanser, and the palate cleanser this week is going to be... Alrighty, that's it for Richard Chase. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Playing us out this week is the band The Profiteers with their song Rations. And because I worked a double shift today, and because I have to work an early shift tomorrow, there'll be no after show. I haven't had time to go through the emails and listen to the voicemails and all that good stuff. So that just means you guys will get a double dose of the after show next week. So if you want to be included in that, just go to our website, go on the contact page, and you'll see a space where you can send an email or send a voicemail, and I'll play it next week. Until then, enjoy the play out song, enjoy the palate cleanser, and I'll see you guys next week.